Hey, good morning, Cornerstone. Happy Wednesday. I got the days right. Today it's June 10th and Acts chapter 10 in our 28-day Bible reading challenge in the book of Acts. Thanks for checking in today. This is a good one, I guarantee it. This is all about the gospel is now moving outside of just Jewish believers and now going to the home of a Gentile believer named Cornelius. Now, Cornelius was a Roman. And like Jewish people did not think that the gospel was going to be for Gentile people at all. There was a severe amount of discomfort and hatred against Gentile people. And it went both ways, but Gentiles to Jewish, Jewish to Gentiles. They did not mix well. Now, Jesus was a Jewish man. He was, followed Judaism, all the rules of Judaism, and like the Ten Commandments and the temple, and like this is natural for him. So for Peter and James and John, the other disciples and now apostles, as they are going forward telling people about Jesus, they're telling Jewish people about Jesus because it's a natural next step for them. What they didn't anticipate was that God was going to call them to go and share this message with Gentiles. And so God gives Peter a vision of like this sheet coming down from heaven. You can read it and find out all that God is saying, but Peter would not have normally, naturally gone to Cornelius' house. This is outside of his comfort zone, outside of what he thought was going to happen. But God wanted it to go, and he wanted it to go first to this guy named Cornelius. And then it's cool that at the end of the story, we see that his whole family was saved. Everybody in his home believed, they converted, and then God gave them the gift of the Spirit. He filled them, baptized them in the Holy Ghost, and they spoke in other tongues. And this is kind of a symbol, a sign from God that what's going on here is my plan, it's my will. Now, yesterday morning in our morning men's prayer meeting, our discussion ended up surrounding around the idea that God is talking to us, and I want to hear God's voice. How can I hear God's voice more clearly in my life? And it's so important for us to hear from God, because so much of what we're doing as followers of Jesus, we can't come up with it on our own. It's not completely intuitive. In fact, most of it is counterintuitive. Peter would not have gone to Cornelius' house. This would have been anathema to him. And he needed to hear God's voice directing him in this respect. I wonder for your life today and in your walk with God, are you hearing the voice of the Lord? How is God speaking to you? God can speak to us through his word. He speaks to us through other people. He speaks to us through our spirit. I think Les said yesterday morning in our prayer meeting about how God speaks through our inner spirit. God can speak to us through visions and dreams. God can speak to us through nature. Maybe you can hear his voice through a burning bush. One way or another, we've got to find a way to hear from God. We can't just accept that God is speaking to somebody else or God is speaking to the pastor, but we got to hear from God on our own. God has put his spirit in your heart so that you can hear from him, so that you can get direction and encouragement and blessing directly from him. Today, I'm going to challenge you as you go to prayer. There's no questions today, just some homework. What I want you to do is, God, speak to me. I want to hear your voice. And keep praying that until you hear clearly from God. Be blessed today. Grow in him. God bless you, Cornerstone.